Welcome to the Impact of Educational Leadership podcast with ID3 for Isaiah Drone III. This show was designed to provide an exclusive forum on educational achievement gaps related to learner success while discovering relationships and family issues in a diverse setting.
All right. This is another night of the Impact of Educational Leadership. This is episode 36. I'm your host, ID3 for Isaiah Drone III. Tonight's panelists are Nina Taylor, Lametra and Buddy Thornton. First, let me tell you a little bit about Nina Taylor. Nina has a Bachelor's of Science in both broadcast journalism and psychology. During her 30 years in radio, Nina became the station promoter and brought many outstanding national gospel artists to the state of Ohio while promoting the radio station. Nina has an international news segment entitled The Gospel News that airs on over 400 stations in the U.S., Canada, the United Kingdom, and Africa. Nina can also be heard nationally on her show, The Gospel Express, on several radio stations. She is in the top 40 countdown of radio stations. Next, we have Lametra. She is the principal coach and owner of LBO Career Coaching and Consulting LLC, a veteran-owned MBE, WBE, SBE company, providing development, discovery, and transition services to small businesses and professionals. She is a certified professional coach with a specialty in certified career services provider via the National Career Development Association, global development facilitator via the Center for Credentialing and Education, a master's in science degree in human resource training and development with a specialty in adult training and development. Next we have a good friend of mine, Mr. Buddy Thornton, the Bachelor's of Science in Allied Health Sciences, University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, a master's in human services, counseling, and executive leadership, completing his dissertation at Grand Canyon University. Branding as a positive social change agent through effective coaching and mentoring focused on education and family dynamics. He is also a proud board member of Parent Foul and board member of Brokenness to Healing Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to the people.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here.
Hello.
All right. Well, tonight's topic is how has leadership roles changed with greater access to information? Digital technology has altered organizations in irrevocable ways. For instance, remember how printing accelerated the evolution of our history? Digitization is shaping organizations, work environment, and processes, creating new challenges leaders have to face. To overcome this, leadership must identify patterns across the board in order to manage social interactions and healthy psychology for positive development and relationships. Leadership is changing and will continue to change. Technology-based leadership now allows employees to work remotely, but is that psychologically healthy for mankind? Technology allows more freedom, which can bring new challenges to managers. We will have a discussion on how has leadership roles changed with greater access to information. My first question goes to Ms. Lametra. The question to you is, what is the connection between education, leadership, and coaching?
Wow. Isaiah, thank you. Thank you for that introduction, and thank you for this invitation for this lively discussion. You have promoted this as a lively discussion, and I am honored to be among your guests and to be among these talented, esteemed leaders. First of all, yes, we are in the 21st century. We are here no matter if we know it or not. Some leaders may still use pencil and paper, and that's fine, but we're in the 21st century. As our recent coronavirus pandemic has told us or got us ready for, technology is here. We need to use it. It needs to be enforced. How many of us have been home and working from home this last 3-4 weeks? You may have seen memes, you may have seen posts about working from home. You've seen those on technological devices, social media. Technology is here whether we like it or not. We're in the 21st century. We're here with instant news, instant entertainment, and easy to access information. Like I said, coronavirus, COVID-19, shelter in place, all those have enabled us to use some freedoms of work at home. However, there have been some challenges. Our world is globally based. Our world is also technologically and culturally diverse. Individuals from different cultures are in the workplace. Individuals from different generations are in the workplace. We have traditionalists, we have baby boomers, we even have Generation Z in the workplace. Some of these individuals are more technically savvy than others. Most people believe millennials have grown up with technology, and they are leaders in their own right with this technology. Because they've grown up with this technology, and because they've been in the workforce at least 10, maybe 15 years, there have been lots of research on these millennials. What do millennials want as far as a leader is concerned? Listen, you may hear something that you want as far as a leader is concerned, or as far as a career is concerned. Millennials want 6 things. They want work with a purpose. They want development, career development, continuous development. They want coaching from their leader as opposed to orders and giving orders or just giving and passing out tasks. They want ongoing feedback. And they want tasks that are related to strengths. Most importantly, to wrap all that up, they want a balanced life. The Gallup researchers discovered that millennials want those 6 things. Those 6 things are what leaders need to have in order to attract, keep, maintain, retain leaders, other leaders, grow leaders, and keep them within their diverse teams. As a result, leaders need to have communication that is authentic, positive, supportive relationships that's built on authenticity, social interactions that are real, drama-free, ethical, and meaningful. With that said, leaders today want a leader that is authentic. We're all leaders. We're all leaders in our own right. There's a John Quincy Adams quote that states, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." With technology, we see more, we do more, and ideally, we're inspired more. With coaching, with education, ideally this education comes through learning more about yourself, learning more about your leadership skills, learning more about your personality, learning more about your preferences, learning more about how you lead and what motivates you. Once you learn those things, about yourself. You accept yourself. You're aware of what motivates you, as I've said, and you accept others. You're more authentic. You're a better coach. You're a better leader with or without technology. I'd like to leave or add this last statement. It's an Albert Einstein quote that states, "Everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid." We all have at least one unique characteristic that's our competitive advantage, either in life, in leadership, in whatever we do. With the self-awareness, learning, developing, you will discover what's best for you, psychologically, physically, mentally, even technologically.
That was good. Lametra, I love your passion. I love your passion. And that question, it was a lot to unpack. But you connected technology with the workforce, with research, with leadership, with diversity, even with the different generations, from the baby boomers to Generation Z, and how they have to communicate with technology now so that it can work. And a leader and a coach, they are individuals. We know that. But leadership and coaching, those are processes. Okay? And so when people organize a large number of ideas into their natural relationships, then this is how you measure, I believe, good leadership or good coaching ability and skills. So this is a cause and effect relationship. This is how the masterminds like we have here tonight, this is how they facilitate, this is how they analyze, this is how they link between the different groups of, who is still growing and what level they're at to the more mature, complex, situational interactions and the drama, right? It's a fancy word for drama, or the multifaceted situations, that takes that polished leader, that seasoned leader that's been around the block a few times, right? And knows what to say and how to say it and when to say it. So I applaud you for that response. But my next question goes to Mr. Buddy Thornton. Mr. Thornton, what are some of the management tools you see leaders using that work, and what practices need to be put to rest now that technology is in the mix?
Well, Isaiah, that's actually a fairly good question. Before I dive into some of the information that I would like to throw out to answer that, one thing is very, very important, and that is something that was already mentioned. Relationships drive business. Relationships are how management maintains the throughput of any organization, whether it's a 3-person small company all the way up to 100,000. There doesn't matter how many people are in the mix. If you don't focus on relationships, you are not going to succeed. According to Google, when they did a 10-year study of all their middle and upper management people and gave them hundreds of questionnaires to answer, they came back with 8 metrics that were essential for positive leadership. 7 of those 8 attributes were soft skills, which pretty much puts technology on the back burner. Even though we live in a highly technological age, people skills still trump technological skills. But then there's a bleed over personal skills to technology schools. Number 1, leaders can lean on and define key performance indicators in a much more detailed fashion. They can get that out to their middle managers, their direct reports, and therefore it filters down to the workforce. exactly what's expected, so there's less wasted space. With technology, leaders have the ability to reward broadly. They can recognize teams as well as individuals, while at the same time, on the back burner, they can use very, very direct feedback cycles. They can ask very direct questions to specific people without having to waste time with what used to be what we like to call the PowerPoint wasted meeting, where an hour was spent trying to answer no questions whatsoever. Leaders can channel resources more effectively. They can assign tasks remotely. They can assign tasks closely. They can act global, but they can focus local. They can focus on one worker. They can focus on a team. They can focus on an entire group. That wasn't possible before technology was added to the mix. They can seek group contributions. They can assign a task to a team, and they can ask team member A to do one thing, team member B to do another thing. This is an outgrowth of the academic cycle, where you will see an article with 12 authors, and each author contributed one very minor piece to the overall article, and one person edited it. That's called teamwork. We love to do teamwork, but group contributions are a huge extension of the technology we have in play. Leaders can also drive intercultural relationships. They can drive intercultural contribution by filtering appropriately, by directing appropriately. They just waste less time. Technology, when it cycles all the way around to the front side, is now the driving force for keeping relationships in focus, keeping the relationship that creates throughput in focus, and allows leaders to be more specific.
Absolutely fabulous. I like how you answered that question about management tools. You talked about time management, which is huge with technology. You talked about staying aware of social interactions and people skills to make sure your relationships stay positive, and that you really can't have positive leadership without relationships. And then how you measure technology in the mix is through rewards. This is so good, and it's going to get better. Okay, Dr. Buddy Thornton, thank you so much for that response, sir. You nailed it on the head. You took something that was so complex, so multifaceted, as Lametra and I were talking about, so multifaceted, and you broke it down. You broke it down Ooga Booga style. I love you for that, sir. My next guest is Ms. Nina Taylor. Ms. Nina Taylor, I know this is going to be amazing.
I don't know how amazing.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. Wait till they hear what you got to say here. So my question to you, how you doing, first off? How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. My question to you is, how does education create a better leader?
All right, first, hello, and I'm again grateful for the opportunity to be with your guests, Ms. Off and Mr. Thornton. Hello, I'm grateful to share this platform with you today. Well, first of all, can education create a leader? Absolutely not. What education does is tells you what it is to be a leader and all the responsibilities that goes along with it. Can you create a leader in school? No, you cannot. Have you ever seen like a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old? You know, I'm a kindergarten teacher also, in addition to a full-time radio host. And there's always 1 or 2 kids in the classroom who is just, you know, we say, oh, she's so bossy, you know, but she's the one that's got everybody following her. Everybody plays the way she wants to play or he wants to play because she's just that person. She's got those leadership skills even as early as 5 and 6 years old. she was just born that way. And I think that's the way most leaders are, just born that way. What is a good leader? A good leader is somebody who is creative, they're analytical, they're practical, they have vision. They're sensitive to the needs of their followers, their staff, their class, their congregation, whatever it may be. They possess basic wisdom and skills, also attitudes that they can kind of like relate to everybody in their group. Everybody can kind of feel them. They understand everybody who follows them. Also, a good leader is connected. They know everybody in their field. I just finished a leadership class about 4 months ago. It was actually the first class that I got at 100, and I was like, how did that happen? It's like everything in the class just made so much sense to me. Most importantly, a leader is somebody who inspires you to dream more, to learn more, to do more, to become more. If you can do all that, then you are a leader. Can that be taught? Absolutely not. That's all.
Well, you heard it first. You heard it first. And the striking thing about this is that everyone on this panel is a leader. Everyone on this panel has vision. Everyone on this panel is creative. They're creative leaders. They understand duty. They understand responsibility. They all have leadership skills, and they have their own approaches to it, but it works and is very, very successful. Like, for instance, Dr. Buddy Thornton, he breaks down broad categories into finer levels of detail. And like Ms. Off, she knows how to help people move forward step by step with her mentoring company and her consulting company. She helps businesses think about what moves to make next. And yourself, come on, you're a teacher. You're like, how many jobs do you have, lady? You know what I mean? You do so much. So it's a blessing, it really is, to have each and every one tonight on this panel, which you guys are all visionaries. And I love that. I love it. And I want to keep it moving. So my next question is going to go to Lametra Off. Ms. Off, what is the most defining compliment you have ever received?
That's a very, very intuitive and loaded question there, ID3, but I love it. The most defining compliment I've ever received has been actually from my mother. Interestingly enough, my mother and I talk, and, well, she listens. That's not necessarily funny or out of the ordinary or anything. Weekly, at least weekly, we talk. And she tells me what's going on in her life. I tell her what's going on in my life. But what I remember, and it's probably been 10 years ago, what I remember is she said, at the end of a conversation once, she said, well, no, that's okay. We can talk all the time. I love talking to you. Then the next thing that she said that made the most impact on me is she said, I learn something from you every time we talk. And I thought, oh my goodness, that is exactly who I am in my core. Whether it is providing some information to a friend or a little snippet of a quote or something that inspires or motivates or teaches or solidifies or brings awareness or even acceptance or even increases someone's confidence, because actually learning increases others' confidence. That's who I am. And the fact that she said that made the most impact on me more than anything. And when I think about how different I am than for example, my sister, one of my sisters may have, if you were to ask her that same question, she may say that what's important. The most important compliment she's ever received was someone saying that her hair was long. And that, again, totally superficial. But for me, it is the fact that essentially she said that I'm an educator. And I thought, oh, Mama, you get me. You get me. So that's why that's the most important compliment I've ever received. That's something, education is something I value, and it's part of who I am.
That's going to be really hard to beat, because those characteristics, when you start talking about good parents, those characteristics are very heavily desired for every his or her students to display. That confidence that you talked about. And I'm going to say it like this. When you talk about your mom, you sounded so flat-footed. I was cheering you on because I love that. I love that. It shows character. And that's another characteristic that good leadership should display. Not only be competent as a leader, but connected. You told me how, and this is your mother. This is your teacher. She taught you. She taught you how to talk. She taught you how to walk. She's your teacher, but yet the connection is there. And your teacher is now learning from you, and you're learning from you. So it's like a 360 degrees. I love that. I love that. That's going to be hard to beat. Nina Taylor, that's going to be hard to beat, even for you. So,
that was lovely.
Oh, goodness. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
With that being said, what is the most crucial accolade you have ever received?
You know, it's very difficult to narrow it down to one. Probably the first one I ever received would be Employee of the Year in 1999 from a company of about 70 people. And every year they gave the award out to one person. They gave you a plaque and a $1,000 bonus check. And I thought that was just the greatest thing ever. I had really, really worked very hard that year, but I didn't think, they would give it to me. In 2002, I won Announcer of the Year, which was the first time I had ever gotten acknowledged for anything in radio since I had been in it since the age of 19. That was an amazing thing. Our station was nominated for Station of the Year. Our program director was nominated for Program Director of the Year, and I was nominated for Announcer of the Year, and I was the only one who won. And everybody was angry, and they left me there in Detroit and came back, to Ohio. But I was still proud. I stayed, the whole evening, and they had a big celebration after, and I met a lot of celebrities, and it was fantastic. So those two things stick out the most. But since 2015, I've been nominated for something every single year since 2015, and I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to get any nominations this year. But since 2015, I've been nominated for Announcer of the Year, Radio Host of the Year, Host of the Year, Voice of the Year. Just all kind. I've had multiple nominations at every radio ceremony that they've had since 2015. So I have been very, very blessed in that way. So it's real difficult, but I would say the main one was probably being an Employee of the Year of the company, and myself. No one who was on the air had ever even won it. So that was probably the most proud moment for me.
And congratulations. It is so easy to love you guys. I mean, who could not? I mean, I can sit here and just listen to you all day long, everyone on the panel. It's just so much time of the day, but it's so much information. But it costs you guys. It costs you guys the tediousness of learning, the tediousness of studying, of trial and error, being patient, being told no, but being persistent. And it taught you how to be connected. It taught you how to be seasoned. It taught you how to be leaders. It taught you to have people skills. It taught you to be successful in your relationships, in your time management. That was the reward, I think, right? And it calls you to have that duty. It calls you to have the responsibility, which turned into the discipline. It turned into the commitment. It turned into the organization. And so I am just so grateful again that I have you on here tonight with us. And the audience is listening, and I'm sure they're enjoying it. And with that being said, Mr. Buddy Thornton, let me ask you a question here. What is the most significant commendation you have ever received, sir?
Isaiah, we talked about this at length, and I won't go into all the things we discussed, but I had to flip between two things, but I want to do one addendum. I do owe most of the way I look at the world to the way my parents were. My father was not an educated man, barely got out of high school. He's 90 years old today, and he's a rancher, retired. Obviously, what that means, he doesn't do a lot, but he's still in Central Texas. He's very, very happy. He loves his. A very simple man. My mother was the only one in her entire generation to go to college, and she always told me, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you learn, it doesn't matter what you earn. If the people around you do not believe in you and love you, do everything you do for others, and they'll all take care of you. So I fast forward through several different phases. I mean, I was a professional bowler for 27 years. Obviously earned a few awards along the way, but probably my biggest moment was when the 5,500 member of the GCU doctoral learners cohort elected me president of the cohort in 2018. My belief was that I needed to mentor the first year and the second year students who were in the doctoral college. I was an older student because of my age and my experience. I felt like I could at least guide them in how to live and how to think, not what to think. And the fact that they honored me by making me the president of the cohort was something that I'll never be able to get over.
Again, all beautiful responses. Tonight we've been talking about how has leadership changed with greater access to information. Tonight was another impactful night of the Impact of Education Leadership, episode 36. I'm your host, ID3 for Isaiah Jerome III. Tonight's panelists are the lovely Nina Taylor and lovely Lametra Off and Mr. Buddy Thornton. Good night.
Welcome to the Impact of Educational Leadership podcast with ID3 for Isaiah Jerome III. This show was designed to provide an exclusive forum on educational achievement gaps related to learner success while discovering relationships and family issues in a diverse setting.